I know what the world been waiting on, but I supposed to film the video at the CC Pizza on International Drive, which is by Icon Park, and Universal. But I was just chilling on my resort in Kissimmee, Florida. Yeah, Kissimmee, Florida showed me love. Actually, it's the next county over. They love me too in Kissimmee, so I just decided to get a resort in Kissimmee. I like the accommodations at the resort, all the features. I got a fitness center. I got 3 outdoor pools. You know, I got a playground. I got a mini golf course. I got a lake hooked up to the resort, and I can go boating, go fishing. The fitness center have me kind of buff. My room kind of nice. I got a king size bed with a pool view. So it's like king size pool view. That's just my cup and my receipts. Put my receipt in the camera because I actually owe CC Pizza a couple of dollars. So let me go ahead and show CC Pizza that I got a new receipt. I got an arcade hooked up to the resort as I'm walking up on the arcade in the CC Pizza by the resort. I know International Drive, like, oh man, we wanted that video from you on International Drive, but go ahead and put Kissimmee, Florida on the map too. Go ahead and,
Yes, it is.
and it's considered as Disney area too. Disney running 42 miles, which is the same size as the city of San Francisco, California. So you could practically say Disney is the city itself. So, it's running through 2 counties. So I just landed in Kissimmee, by the resort. They had a CC piece attached to it, which gave me a bright idea, go ahead and put my resort that I like to hang out at and live at on the map. And the world been waiting on the CC piece of video. So what's more attractive than the resort I'm actually living in. And of course, I got a lot of footage on International Drive. You know, that's complementing that, including the Star Flyer, Slingshot, to name a few. Who knows what I'll do next? But I was just in the CC's piece about the resort. About to hang out, get a world something they was looking for. I know they was looking for another CC piece of video. So, you know, I just thought it would be time. I don't know how many places I eat, bro. But let's get started, guys. How you doing, man? CC's Pizza. Yeah, I'm just walking in. It's just a complimentary right here. This just something I'm walking into right now, you know. So I'm just gonna call this the walking in right here. So I'm just gonna call this the intro right here, because actually I'm just walking in, so I'm gonna call this the intro right here. I'm just gonna, call this like a intro, like the intro plate, and some bread stick, pepperoni pizza, and like a barbecue chicken pizza, so, big Coca-Cola on the ones and twos, Like I said, man, I was having fun at the resort, you know what I'm saying? They got a lot of like amenities, I love the lake on it, I can go fish on it, go work out, fitness center, I can just relax, freeze myself, my pool big, it go up to like 8 feet deep, and it's spacious, so you can get in the middle of it and it can look like you just swimming in a river or something in the middle of it. It's so spacious, So, you know, when I was going to my resort and I was on Google Maps, I seen they had a CC pizza nearby. I was like, well, how close is the CC pizza, So I'm pulling in the resort, I was like, man, I don't have to bring my car, I could just walk. Basically, I could walk to the, CC pizza, So I got an A plus because I picked a nice, reliable spot, My room nice. I got a king size bed with a pool view, everything nice, everything good, So I was like, man, So I say, man, let me go browse off the resort because I was really doing all the stuff that the resort was hosting. Like they got an 18-hole miniature golf course. They got like 3 pools, fitness center, a lake which you can fish in, boat in, whatever, Um, breath was good, nice scenery, like a modern. I'm not gonna say modern, like a old school, like an old school resort style exterior to it, interior to, but take it or leave it. I love the resort. So I like to be filming this CC piece of video in the CC piece about the resort instead of the one on International Drive, and I had a lot of footage on International Drive, so I decided to film the video in the CC piece about the resort. Yeah, I was sitting at my table, and I was thinking while I was eating the walking, I was thinking, man, like, I seen the cinnamon rolls on the display. I remember the first time I got introduced to CC's Pizza cinnamon roll, which was the first time I even CC's Pizza on a trip that I took to Alabama. We went to Alabama, And I ate at the CC Pizza, in Alabama, and I ate the cinnamon rolls. And I just kept CC Pizza on my checklist, before I even get to the cinnamon rolls. So, you know, that's a good dessert, to go with pizza. So it's a pair with pizza. So the dessert's gonna come, and I'm just gonna be delighted, man. And my taste buds gonna be, it's gonna be handled, and my taste buds is gonna relax, and it's gonna just be, you know, supplied. Yeah, I chose chicken with the soup first. I had the owl in the resort all night, so my room kind of cold. I was freezing. And I just had on all night. Let the air blast all night. I ain't never turn it on. So I get the chicken noodle soup or warm me up. I was on the display looking. I was like, man, what you get first? And I say, man, I ain't gonna go ahead and start it yet. We go ahead and get another snippet. So I chose the chicken noodle soup. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. I like chicken noodle soup though, man. You know, but I be trying to cook chicken noodle soup sometimes. But you know, I think it's kind of hard making the broth though. Get the chicken broth. I don't have a problem with the chicken part. Cause usually when I'm doing, usually I can get a boneless skinless chicken breast, pat it dry. Cause you gotta pat them boneless skinless chicken breast dry while you prep it before you season it, so it can form a good crust. I read up on it, and I buy some boneless skinless chicken breasts. I pat them dry, season it, and I can dice that chicken when I get through pan frying it. So I think the hard part is just getting the chicken broth together. But it's nothing to dice tomatoes, add tomatoes. I was just trying to. I was debating in the kitchen one day, and I was like, "Well, what seasonings can I take to form the chicken broth? To make it have an authentic chicken noodle soup taste. Cause I like the cold. I'm a cold dude, so I use stuff like chicken noodle soup to heat me up. Warm me up. You know, I just needed a little warm up right quick. And, give me a little energy from the heat from the chicken noodle soup. Sometimes heat just energize me. And I have a full head of steam, rather say, and I can eat for years. So, I think that's my problem. I be trying to chew my food down to the nearest tenths, man. Make it look like particles, man. I chew some food that I eat for so long, so I can end up in the factory or something like. I was eating some Doritos, flaming hot Doritos, with some Fritos cheese. Jalapeno cheddar cheese. I was chewing the Doritos for so long, so I ended up in the Dorito factory. I was like, man, how I get here? You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. A plus pickle chicken noodle soup. Just to start off, kind of heat me up a little bit. I was kind of cold all day. Heat me up a little bit, give me a little energy. I ain't really trying to get live from the salad bar, but I just sit there and think about all the topics. But, I like to add stuff to my salad. I like to customize my salad. So I go to salad bars, nothing wrong with CC piece of salad. I like the options, the toppings right there. So, I'm like, man, let me pour up the top the salad bar right here. Pour it live from the salad bar. I like to do my salad by the layer. So, I do that top layer, try to situate it like the top layer, top and bottom. Let's see. Yeah, jalapenos too. Me and the customer gonna have a fight, bro. I think me and the customer gonna have a fight, bro, over the salad bar, bro. Like they ready to fight, bro. Sometimes you can't really get them customers at the salad bar, bro. I don't think I want to do it, bro. You want this bro? No, I want to win against you, bro. I ain't gonna try it. Looking good right there. Ooh, got tomatoes, carrots, jalapeno, pickles. Jalapenos, okay, ranch dressing. Hey, we in that fight though. Let me go find that dude, bro. I might win a fight at a salad bar though. I might win the old salad bar fight with a customer. I might want too much ranch and the customer might feel some type of way for me. Hold on, Elijah. So like I said, I like to grab them pickles first, mix like a jalapeno in there, little lettuce, ranch dressing, carrots. Well, broke the fork in the salad. They put the salad to the side, man. Breaking the fork in the salad, you know. Put the salad to the side, you know. Well, sometimes it be an error in the video, you know. I'm just so live and exclusive with it to where, I just put the error to the side, because I'm live with what I do, so therefore, let's move on. I'm a live dude, so, anything bound to happen when I'm eating. That was some pork broken in the salad right there, but we moving on now, cheese pizza, buffalo, chicken pizza, sometimes, I get live with it. So sometimes, I could be trying to dig in the salad and the pork might break in, Well, oh well, then the pork broke, in the salad, so I moved on. Buffalo chicken pizza, cheese pizza, man, trying to get my rub on, trying to fulfill my appetite, Sometimes I ain't gonna complain. Sometimes a fucking break in the salad. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a fork breaking on live TV, please? Well, here we go. So I moved on because the fork broke in the salad, The first time I taste the buffalo chicken pizza since a CC's pizza, you know, the one I filmed the first and second CC pizza video in, you know, which I love to explore new pizzas, My first fast food restaurant job was actually a pizza place, Domino's Pizza. I was 17 years old, in high school, and I was really classified as a minor, so I couldn't get no more than 5 hours a day. So I had a manager named Scott, cool guy, so I used to always ask my manager, how can he eat those American cheeseburger pizzas? At that time, back then we had the 555, My job got a lot of business. You could get medium one topping pizza for $5, a minimum three pizzas, so we got a lot of business, but my manager Scott used to always dig those American cheeseburger pizzas. So I was like, man, what Mr. Scott seeing these? It took a piece or two for me to get the understanding out of it, and I fell in love with the American cheeseburger pizza. So I'm up for exploring new pizzas. I kind of fell in love with the buffalo chicken pizza too, but I seek other options when I'm eating chicken, like fried chicken, legs, wings, thighs, breasts, or because I like to cook red beans and I like to get those boneless, skinless chicken breasts. That's a good option when you're cooking the red beans. You know, I love meat in my red beans, so you know, I got a lineup of meat going my red bean, chicken, ham, and sausage. But I eat it sometimes on a pizza. Like chicken and gumbo. But Sometimes I eat it on a pizza, you know. So you can consider this as the first plate if you want to, you know, because you know I try to really walk in, you know, the salad, fork broke in the salad, you know, unfortunately, big cup of chicken noodle soup, you know, so it's like 10 toes down, you know, but you know I'm still browsing the menu, you know, and so you know, I just like thinking about it, like when you browsing the menu, man, you know, dessert time ain't even come yet, you know, get your mind together, go back to the menu, you know, it ought to be near dessert time, though, you know. Well, yeah, you know, cinnamon rolls. This one here definitely. You can eat that, man. 3 second rule in my neighborhood, bro. It's a 3 second rule in my neighborhood we live by. And a real nigga gonna respect me for it. I just hanging out at the dessert bar. But yeah, like I said, bro, you know, I think it's nothing better to pair pizza with than the desserts that be on the pizza menu. And I prefer cinnamon rolls when I eat pizza, you know. It's just like sweetness, you know. I don't know, bro. It's like,
No, I'll grab a different one.
you know, I like baked chocolate chip cookies, warm chocolate chip cookies with pizza, cinnamon rolls, brownies, you know, like chocolate lava cakes, you know. But I think a cinnamon roll just beat everything out. It's just classic at every pizza restaurant, pizza parlor, you know. It's always a cinnamon roll somewhere in the mix, you know. And it's good to pair pizza with, you know. It's like a pizza pattern, you know. I love it, you know. good, man. I kept the cold drink so it could cool me down throughout, the eating, everything tastes marvelous. But like every time I come to CC Pizza, it's like A plus. I get a good thrill, have a little fun, have a little excitement, which I love to eat good. I just love, CC's Pizza, I'm hanging out by the resort, and by the CC's Pizza, my resort like a 5 minute walk from here, you know. While I was browsing around, I was thinking like what else within walking reach of the resorts, and currently like right behind the CC Pizza is a place you can golf at right there, so down to my resort like a 5 minute walk from here, so I just decided to record it at this CC Pizza, get a lit, get some lit, acknowledgement in CC Pizza category of my work because, I've been shying away from making CC Pizza videos, so it's something to put together, it's something, just to, you know, get involved in, a cash flow, you know, need help in the cash category. So I'm seeking options and, the CC's Pizza video came to mind, so I hope I get success with that and get a cash flow with that. Well, currently this the CC's video pizza video part 3. So, let's see if I can get some success from it. Get back at you guys.